we're bringing you Mrs. Patience Ronami Abba, who is the company secretary and head of legal at Izon Microfinance Bank. Madam, thank you very much for coming. We appreciate that. Now, you're looking like a businesswoman, but you... and we appreciate what you women are doing in Bayelsa State. So before we talk about the money, talk to us about the women in Bayelsa State. How enterprising are you?
Oh, they are extremely enterprising. And of course, I'm biased, being Bayelsan, of course, but it's not something that's only unique to Bayelsa State. Across the world, it's well known. Women are extremely enterprising. They have to be. They almost have no choice. They simply have to be.
What type of businesses, enterprises do you engage in as women in Bayelsa State?
There's really no limit. We have women who are into manufacturing. We have women who are traders. We have women who are service providers. I don't think there are really any exceptions. Our women are very, very innovative.
Now let's talk about your microfinance bank and what you were doing there at the local level, down on the ground, to reach men and women, artisans, and others who are in farming as well, doing fishing, and others trying to have access to credit that will allow them a key into what to call wealth creation.
Yes, I have to say I am so excited about this project, our microfinance bank, because it's really something that has the power to change, to really bring good, to bring people into the financial sphere. You know, because as we well know, it's not enough to be determined and to have the ability. Without access to capital, I mean, you're dead in the water. So this creates the avenue for people to have access to affordable capital.
In the last 3 to 4 years of Governor Dixon Seriake's excellency here, how much of the policies from the top of the state government has been able to trickle down to what's called microcredit finance in Bayelsa State?
Well, even before the licensing of the bank, there have been a number of policies that have been out there. For instance, providing access to soft loans to market traders and various cooperative groups, which is a start, but it's not enough. The reason being that that is a specific target. If you're not a market trader, you don't have access to that. If you're not part of a cooperative society, you don't have access to that. But by bringing in a microfinance bank that is going to operate across all the 8 local governments of the state, every single person, regardless of what sector you key into, has access to financing, regardless of where you are.
How much are you, perhaps you'll not be able to give exact figure, but I'll try to ask the question, in terms of deposits you're bringing in from people who are traders, who are Bayelsans, who are making contributions on a daily basis, whether individually or through cooperative and thrift societies, trade groups, for example, union of welders, for example, or hairdressers and barbers in salon, or union of tailors or association like that. And at what rate are you lending them money? Is it something that they are proud to be part of?
Yes, well, in reality, the bank has only been recently licensed to operate, so I can't even give you that figure yet. Perhaps by the time we're doing this next year, or if another opportunity arises later on this year, I could give you that figure. We have only just recently started operations.
What motivated the setting up of this microfinance? But what's the motivation? What's the idea?
The idea, well, the name as it stands now is Izon Microfinance Bank, but it's really to be known as Izon Ibe Microfinance Bank, which means the entire community of Ijaw people. So the spirit and intent of the state.
Yeah, the Izon is a local name. What does it mean?
Izon just refers to the language, okay, right? But when you say Izon Ibe, you mean the community of Ijaw people, the entire Ijaw people. So the spirit and intent of the state government in creating this bank is really to enable the entire Ijaw people to have access to banking services. I don't know if you're aware, before now, there has actually been a very severe lack of banking penetration in Bayelsa State. One can get access to banking services outside of Yenagoa with very few exceptions. No ATM machines and no banks. The conventional banks haven't gone there well, they'll have their own reasons. I can't speak on their behalf.
Really? That's neat.
Absolutely. So now, whether you're...
So in some part of the 8 local governments...
In most parts, not some. The only exceptions you have are perhaps in brass, because you've got the LNG and some other such companies.
So banking penetration in Bayelsa State through commercial banks,
yes,
traditional banks, is
it's largely absent, except in the city of Yenagoa. So that was the other main goal in creating the bank, is so that people, wherever they are, can have access to banking services. Imagine your life without access to banking services. Imagine what life would be like.
I'm going to think about it later in the day, perhaps after the show.
Exactly.
I'm going to think about that.
Exactly. So that's what we're looking at.
Oh, okay. So what about the capitalization of the bank? What is the size of what you started?
Okay. Well, for a state microfinance bank, which we are, the minimum required is 100 million naira. So that's what we have. But the government has plans to increase that. So that, because our lending ability is a factor of our share capital. So the larger it is, the more you can lend out. We do have some other microfinance banks in the States, but they're what you call unit microfinance banks. So they're only licensed to operate in a particular locality, in this case Yenagoa, which again doesn't fix the problem.
Now, in getting on to the business of microfinance, microlending, your firm is new, which is Izon Microfinance Bank, but as soon as you get it started and underway, who has been coming forward for credit? More men or more women? Let's start from there.
All sorts of people, but honestly, more women. More women.
And why?
More women. Because women are so enterprising. I mean, just go to any market. Go to any market and just take a poll of how many people are involved. You'll see more of women. And like I said, in most cases, women almost don't have a choice. They have to be enterprising. They have to make up for shortfalls, you know, because of certain peculiarities. You're female, you're looking after family, you're multitasking, you've got children to take care of, you have to put food on the table. Quite often there's shortfalls. And guess who makes up for the shortfall? It's women. You know, you go out there and you do what you have to do to make sure that your family is taken care of.
Are there specific arrangements to direct this micro-lending via the bank into specific areas of economic activity, light manufacturing, not just trading, but perhaps craftsmanship and things like that?
Yes, absolutely. We used as a springboard. Everyone has heard of the CBN MSMEDF scheme, the 220 billion naira scheme. So we actually use that as a springboard. And the target groups for that, I mean, they're varied. There's absolutely no limit. So we have people who are into light manufacturing. We have people who are traders. But obviously, I mean, when you look around the state, I think the majority of people that are active, we have a lot of traders, majority of traders. We do have some manufacturing, but not as much as traders.
So Governor Sarake Dixon is asking local and foreign investors, I mean within Nigeria and from outside, to come in and do business and bring more money into the state.
Yes.
Do you key into these new investment promotion by the state government?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because I should mention, you know, part of it is, like I mentioned earlier, bringing people into the financial sphere, into the financial conversation, so that our people start to feel included. I mean, when you hear of, for instance, the forum that's going on now, it shouldn't be something foreign. It shouldn't be something that only a particular sector of people sit down and be involved in. Everyone has something to contribute, because whether it's your turnover is 30,000 or 100,000 or 30 million, it's a contribution into the finances of the state. And people have to be empowered to self-determine their finances. So I determine what I put on the table. I determine what I make because of my ability and my activity.
And you think if there are more money from investors in dollar terms and whatever, your bank will be part of that, you will share part of that?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. There are a number of agencies, both and companies, local and foreign, that have a lot of money and are willing to actually fund the micro and small micro enterprises sector. There's so many of them, so we're keen into that. So,
you are a microfinance bank in an oil-rich Niger Delta state,
yes.
So that makes it really different. So you sitting on a pot of money.
so to speak, yes. So to speak, yes. And we're keen into that. There are a number of companies that have been, even before we came on board, that have various micro lending programs, like the oil companies. So we're keen into that. And there are foreign companies as well that are willing to provide financing and channel it through the bank so that it gets to people and the economy grows.
Okay, that was a very interesting conversation.
Yeah.
We hope to have time in the future perhaps to come back and look at what has been achieved, perhaps when your bank is 1 year old or 2 years old, and see how much you're doing. Perhaps some of those industries, cottage industries by the women.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Very interesting. I look forward to that. Perhaps the next time I'm going to come as a tourist, and not as a journalist.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you very much for being part of the program.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.